Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the first video in my Autodesk Fusion 360 beginner series, and in this video we're going to be looking at using the Extrude tool, and we're going to use that to create a nice dining room table, just a simple model just to get you started using the Extrude tool. So to start with, what we're going to do is just turn our origin on visibility. And if we go to the top view on our view cube, if we select our XY plane and create a new sketch, if you go to this create drop down here, go to rectangle and select center rectangle. If we click the origin, so we'll put the center of the rectangle there, and if we make this 2000 millimeters by 1000. And hit enter to create that rectangle. Next, if we create the outline for our table leg, and that's going to be 100 by 100 millimeters, and we'll dimension that away from the edge of the table at 100 that side and 100 again that side, but we'll use that first dimension to drive this one so they both stay equal. If you finish that sketch and just rotate it around here, go to the Extrude tool, and if we select the outline for our chair leg, now I'll just talk you through a couple of the parameters on the Extrude panel here. So you've got profile here, which is obviously the profile that you've sketched out. For the start box here, there's a few different options. So you can select profile plane, which will start it from where you've sketched your original sketch. You can select offset plane, where you can make the extrude start from a certain distance offset from your original sketch. So if you were to put 30 in there, as you can see, it's starting a little bit further up from the sketch there. And there's also from object, which is where if you have another object in your file, you can select a face where you want the extrude to start and start it from there. So that's basically what they are. But we're going to choose profile plane. And for direction, you've got a few different options. So one-sided, which just extrudes it one side there. You've got two-sided, where you can put different values for the top and bottom of the extrude, and there's also symmetric, which is where both the top and bottom of the extrude will extrude at the same value, but we're just going to go for one side on ours. For the distance, there's a few different ways you can set that, so you can just type in a distance there if you wanted to, or you can put 2 on object. So if you were to select a face on another solid or the same solid, you could terminate the extrusion at that face, or you can extrude it through all, which is basically just it extrudes through everything in the document. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest, but we'll keep that a distance and we'll put 800 millimeters in there. And another thing we'll do is to put a taper on this, just to make it look a bit nicer. So if we put a 2-degree taper on there, you'll see how it gets bigger and flares as it gets to the top of the extrude, and that 2 degrees keeps along the extrude no matter what the distance is, so you can keep that a constant. So we'll just change that back to 800. Make sure the operation is set to new body. You can either have join, cut, intersect, or new body. So join is where you can join the extrude onto a solid that's already in your document. Cut is where you can cut material away from an object that's already there using your extrude. Or intersects, which is where if you extrude your profile, it'll keep where your profile intersects with the solid and get rid of everything else. Or obviously new body or new component, which is pretty self-explanatory. So we'll go for new body, and click OK. So we've got our first table leg there, and we need a couple more of them. So I will go to create, click on mirror, and there's different types of pattern that you can do. So faces, where you can mirror faces, bodies, features, which is the different features that we use to create your solid, so the extrude or a sweep or whatever, or a different component that's in the scene. But we're going to go for bodies, and if you select the table leg, if you mirror it across the YZ axis, click OK, and we have got our second leg. And if we do that again, select both of those and mirror those across the XZ plane, click OK, and now we've got 4 table legs. So the next thing we're going to do is put a couple of beams in between these legs just to create the frame. And the first thing we're going to do that is create a sketch on the YZ plane. If we hit slice there to get rid of those 2 legs and just cut through the scene. If we select the top edge there, hit P to project that through, click OK, and that puts that onto your sketch plane. And if we just make sure that's on construction, and then what we're going to do is put in a rectangle here that is 150 by 100 and hit enter. And we're going to constrain the center point of this line onto the one that we've just projected through. And the way to do that is if you hold shift with your coincident constraint selected, hover over that edge there, that should bring up the center point. Do the same for that one, and select that, and then we go that constrains that together. And then if you finish your sketch there, next we're going to add the same sketch on the XZ plane. So again, select that, click create sketch, tick slice to slice the view, select the top edge and project that through, click OK, and make that a construction line. And we're just going to draw the same rectangle again, so 150 by 100, hit enter, and again constrain those midpoints. So we've got our sketches there, and we've got a bit of an issue because we've put a taper on there on these chair legs. So if we just extrude that straight in there as a new solid, it won't. It will look fine, but it won't have the profile of the table legs, and it won't meet face to face. So what we're going to do with our extrude is, if you go to extrude, select the profile that you've just sketched, and what we're going to do is click 2 sides, and for the extent on side 1 we're going to click 2 object, and we'll select that face first, and on the second one again go 2 object and select that face. As you can see, that extrudes between those 2 faces, but it's currently set to join, and we don't want that. We want that as a new body, so click new body and then click OK, and you'll see that the beam across between the 2 legs has now mimicked the taper and meets perfectly with those. So we'll do the same for this side here. Again, go 2 sides, 2 object, and select the first face. Go to the second side, 2 objects, and select the second face. And again, make sure that's set to new body. So next what we've got to do is just mirror these 2 beams across to complete the frame. So here, go to create and then mirror. Select the first one, mirror that across the YZ. And again with the other side, mirror that across the XZ. And there we go, that's the basic frame done. Next, if we bring back the original sketch that we created earlier, if we go to our extrude tool, and this is where we're going to use the different start point for this extrude. So if we first select our profile, so select everything in that sketch, and on the start tab, if we go to from object, and if we select the top face of that table leg, and if we keep it at distance for the extent and put 30mm in there, new body, and click OK. And as you can see, that's transferred the profile from this sketch down here and just put it up there, so it sits nicely on top of the chair legs, sorry, the table legs. So there we go. That's your basic table using just the extrude tool finished. So thanks for watching the video. If you like the video, don't forget to comment, share, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!